Alright. So, for our lesson today, we're going to be making scatter plots, which you guys have probably done a little bit with before. And we're not really doing anything new so much as we're taking two things we've learned and putting them together. Which I guess it's new, but the entire concepts aren't really new. So, we're going to be making some scatter plots. Then we're going to find the equation of a line of best fit. A scatter plot is just a bunch of dots graphed together. That's all a scatter plot is. So if I'm going to make a scatter plot of these points down here, all my points are listed, and I just need to put them on my graph. So real quick, I'm going to graph all these points. 0, 11, 0, 1, 2, I got 0, 11, I have 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 8 right there. I have 3, 7. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. Then I got 8, 0. So this is our scatter plot. It's just a bunch of dots. It's a little different because we're not actually graphing a line with these dots. We're just graphing the dots. But what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line of best fit. And we're going to find the equation for it. So, with our stuff today, you are all going to get slightly different answers, which is fine. So, a line of best fit, which is what we're going to make in just a second, is a straight line that represents your overall trend. Sometimes I call this a trend line instead of line of best fit. Sometimes I will say trend line. It means the same thing, and I go back and forth sometimes. I don't know why. And what this is just, it looks like my dots are going kind of down and right. So my line of best fit is I'm going to draw a line here, and it's going to represent that. So my trend line is I'm going to kind of go up here like this, and I'm going to make it a line that goes down, and you want to kind of go through the overall trend with your dots. So this line, it's going to be a straight line. So some people, when they do this, they like bounce around and connect dots. They kind of go like this, and then this, and then this, and they bounce around. That's not what this is. It's a straight line, and it represents kind of the overall way your dots are going. My dots are going down and right. This line is going down and right. And I kind of want to try to put it like right in the middle of all the dots. So even though I'm only really touching two dots, it represents the overall trend. And the reason you're going to get all different answers is because you could make your trend line look like this, which is still pretty good, right in the middle, right? That looks pretty good. You could go something kind of like this. Line here. That's still the overall trend, but these are all slightly different. So you're all going to get slightly different equations. So, just because you do this and you get a different answer from your partner doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means you have different lines, which is fine. That's not a big deal. So, we're going to find the equation of this trend line. And we're going to do point slope today, because almost never are we going to get lucky enough to get an exact B, an exact y-intercept. This time, I do happen to be pretty lucky. I do have a B right there, but I'm going to do point slope just so we practice that. And this is just like our warm-up. So point slope, y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. And we're going to find the equation of my trend line. If you do it on your line, it's going to look a little different, and that's okay. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. So I'm going to find my slope here, and I'm going to use this one, this dot right here, and this dot right here. When you find your equation, so after you make your trend line, I don't care about the dots on your graph anymore. You're going to find the equation of this trend line using just the line.
Can we use any dots?
Any dots that are on the line. So for example, I could have used this one right here, because that dot is on my line. Even though I didn't graph a scatter plot dot there, I can still use it because it's on my line. Because right now I'm making my equation, all I care about is the line I drew. So you know what, I'll actually use these two just to make it like that. So I need to find my m, and I need to find x1 and y1. So for my m, I'm going to use these 2 points. And I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going down 5, which means it's negative 5 over 1, 2, 3, 4. My slope is negative 5 over 4. And then I need to pick a point on my line. It doesn't matter which one. We got a bunch of them. I'm going to pick this one. I just kind of did it randomly. It doesn't matter which one. So this is I need to get this x comma y coordinate for this line. And then is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, comma 1, 2, 3. Is that 6 comma 3? So 6 is my x1, 3 is my y1. I'm just going to fill in my formula. Y minus 3 equals negative 5 over 4 x minus 6. And this is my equation for my final answer here. And this is really all we're going to be doing today. I had a second part in mind, but I think we're going to skip it and just practice scattered plots. All right, this is a 4 right here. I just kind of crossed over it. So today's stuff isn't really difficult, because mostly what you're doing is just finding this equation. It just is kind of time-consuming making your scatter plots. But you're not going to have very many problems, so it won't be too big. All right, we're going to do 1 or 2 more, and you guys are going to do 1 or 2, and that'll be it. Oh, that's right. Okay, when you make your trend line, you want to try to make it go through as many dots as possible. So sometimes it's really easy to see, sometimes it's kind of tougher to see. So on this first graph here, if I'm going to make a trend line, it's pretty easy to see that I need to go like this. Down and right like this, kind of like my first one. Now we could still kind of adjust it slightly and say, oh, maybe it's more like this, but it's still doing basically the same thing. I'm going to look at this next one on the right. This one's kind of harder to tell. I could make my line look a little different, because it could be like this, or maybe like this, or even, you might even say like this. You got more wiggle room, but still basically the same thing. These other ones, kind of same idea. They're both going up and right this time. Up and right this time. Some of these, though, it's really hard to tell a trend line. Like on this one, do we really have a direction our dots are going? Mm-hmm. Not really. So I could kind of make my trend line anywhere. So it's kind of gets difficult. You won't have any like this today, but just keep in mind on some of these, we might do a project as part of our review. I haven't decided. We might do like a one-day project, but we'll see. So on some of these, you really kind of just gotta guess. So my trend line could go anywhere in here, so it's kind of rough. But most of the time, they will look mostly like these two in the middle. So you gotta make your trend line follow those pretty good. All right, we're gonna do another scatter plot. So we're gonna make a scatter plot, find the equation of the line of best fit, and we're going to whoops, I forgot to delete this line from last time. Oh, that's not there.
Oh, it's there.
I totally promised that was never there.
That's right.
Sorry, it's on your paper already. Oh well.
That's right.
So what we're going to do is make a scatter plot, find the equation of the line of best fit, and then we're going to skip this estimate part, and we're just going to practice the scatter plot. So we're going to skip that part. To start with, we just need to make all of our dots. So this is, and the reason we do scatter plots is because they are really good for real-world situations. So this is a table about the number of hours you studied and comparing it to a test score you got. And remember, when you have tables, the top is X, the bottom is Y. So before we graph it though, let's take a look at these. On my X's, I'm going from, looks like 2 to 14. So do I want to make my X's go by something other than 1?
By 2s.
We could do by 2s. 1s would be okay though, because that's not very much. So I'll let you choose for your X's. You can go either way. But let's look at our Y's. What's our biggest Y?
75, 85.
95. 95, there we go. So my biggest Y is 95, which means I'm going to have to make my Y's go by something other than 1. What do you want to go by? What do you want to go by, Delia? Let you pick. Delia?
5s.
By 5s?
Yeah.
If we went by 5s, we'd really be going up like 20. How about something a little bigger than 5?
10.
10's is a good one. 10's a good one. So let's go by 10. So 10, 20, 30,
That's rough.
40, 50, 60. You okay, Moses? Because you're talking and I'm taking notes. Just saying. So I'm going by tens and I got my scatter plot here. And now that I've done this, now we can actually go and start to graph. And we're going to have to kind of estimate where our points are, but that's fine. So my first one is 8, 75. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then up here to 75, which is right there, just about good enough. Then I got 562. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 62 is about right there. 1280. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 80 is up like right here. Then we got 10, 85. Let's see, 10 and 85 is about right here. And we got this poor guy who only studied 2 hours and got 35 on his test. 2 and 35 is right there.
I don't study Okay, Luis got it. I didn't do any work.
Alright, we're going to keep going. Let's see, we got 9 and 70. 9 and 70 is right here. 11 and 82, it's about right there. And 14 and 95. This poor guy who spent 14 hours studying. Let's see, that's 12, 13, 14. But he did a good job on his test, so I guess it worked. 1495. All right. This is most of our work, honestly, is just making our scatter plot. It's kind of annoying sometimes. But. So we got our scatter plot. We got to make our line of best fit and find that equation. And your line of best fit can be kind of how you want it. You get to pick what it looks like. You just need to make sure it's reasonable. So if I'm going to make my line of best fit, if I go like this, I don't know, if I go something like that, do you think that's a good one? No. I kind of got the first two here, but then most of my dots are a little lower than that, right? So that's not a good one. So even though this is close, it's not real good. So we're going to have to adjust this a little bit. And maybe do something more like this. That looks a little bit better. So even though it only touches this one dot right here, that's fine. It doesn't have to touch dots. You can make a line of best fit that doesn't touch anything.
Look, we already have a line.
That's because I forgot to delete it. So I guess you can use that if you want. So we're gonna have to find this equation, and then after that we'll be finished because we're not gonna do the other part. So on mine, I'm gonna pick this point right here and this point right here. So I need to find my slope on those 2 points, because remember we're doing point slope. Y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. And on my slope, let's have somebody help me out. Moses, what's my slope?
10 over 2.
You got it.
Well, because it's going up.
Mm-hmm. So, it looks like I'm only going up 1, right?
You are.
But, how much did I make each one of these lines worth?
10.
I made them all worth 10, which means, even though I only got one line, I'm really going up 10. So you got to be careful. I'm going up 10 and over 2. So my slope is 10 over 2, which is really, what? 5 over what? So my slope is really 5 over 1 because 10 over 2 reduces. That is my m. Nope, I just wrote my non-reduced one. My slope is 5 over 1. And then we got to pick a point on our line. It doesn't matter which one, so I'm just going to pick this one. Right here. And that is at 1, 2, 3, 4. About 4, comma, and each y is worth 10, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That is at 4, comma, 50. So, 4 is going in for x1, 50 is going in for y1. I just need to rewrite it with my actual numbers now. Y minus 50 equals 5 over 1 x minus 4 for my final equation. Alright, you guys want to do one more? You want to go into an A class?
One more.
In class.
One more.
Alright, we can do one more.
I need to practice.
But you guys are going to help me with this one.
Oh, snap.
So we're going to have some people come up here and do this.
Fat grams.
Alright. So on this, it's a scatter plot of the number of grams of fat in something and its calories. So let's go through and look. Ivory, we're going to make our graph first of all. So I guess before we do this, we got X, we got Y's. What should we make our X's go by?
3s.
Alright, we can do 3s. So we're going to make our X's go by 3. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Kind of random, but we can do it. Gabe, what should we make our Y's go by? What should we make our Y's go by? We can do 50s. Our graph is going to be a little squished, but that's okay. So we're going to go by 50s. So 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. I think 25s would be the best, but I'll take 50s. Alright, we're going to have to go through and graph these points now that I've got them on here. So you guys are going to help me. So Lily, graph this first point for us. Graph this first point for us. So we're graphing 350. There you go. 350 right there. Alright, Ashlyn, graph the next point for us.
Oh, I didn't know it was number.
Graph the next point for us. So you have 9, 190. Yep, 9, 190. You have to put 9, 190. So 9. And then keep going. That's 100. 150. A little higher.
They was thinking.
They were going by 50s. So about right there. That was pretty good.
Fat grams.
You got it. No, a little lower. Okay. Ain't good enough. All right, Ruben, do the next one for us.
They got
7, 170. So there's. I would say a little. Yeah, about right there.
That was Lily.
No.
Yeah, that's good enough. Pretty close. All right, good enough, Ruben. Hey, you're covering up the other dot. Stop.
Oh. What, jealous Lily?
All right, no. Do our next one. 10, 185. Yeah, this one for us. Yep, 10, 185. There you go. All right. Yeah, that's good enough. All right, Luis, you're doing 7, 165. I don't know why you didn't see this coming. I'm going around the room. Yeah, man. All right, you got 7, 165.
Louise,
Wait, what happened to my
This
dog?
one?
It kind of got covered up. Yep, that's the one. You got covered up by Ruben.
Ruben.
Can't make tiny dots. All right, there's 7, 165 now. A little higher. Come on, keep going. It's going to be kind of under Ruben's dot because he draws really big dots.
What is
Just put a little dot right there.
It's just there. Yeah.
I like Ruben's big dots.
Yeah, good enough. All right, Jace, you got the last one. Alright, hey, Luis, hand over to Jace. Over to Jace. Married in the class, really?
You guys, start clapping.
You know,
Damn it.
What?
What?
Oh, I thought
What?
Louis,
You
you
lost your chance. You were.
What?
Come on, we got 19.
Come on.
No, it's too late.
Come on, we should go exclusion in class.
Yeah,
I almost fell asleep too.
It's because of that tea you drank earlier.
Alright, so we got our scatter plot. So Kinsey, I want you to make our line of best fit. Make our line of best fit.
I'm a little tired today.
Remember, it's a straight line. We got straight lines here. So, you've got like you can draw a straight line. So you can change it after you draw it. So if you don't like it at first. So click and drag. Yeah. There you go. Okay, yeah. Alright. Alright. Can adjust a little bit. Alright, well, that's pretty good. I'd say that's nice. Yeah. Alright, so we got our scatter plot, we got our line of best fit. So I'll pick 2 points here. We got this point right here and this point right here. So, Magi, you're gonna help me out. We're gonna find our slope next. We're gonna find our m. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what's my rise, Magi? There you go, 250. So our rise is 250. And Adelia, how far over am I going?
I was almost asleep myself. I woke up and was like, that was what? I didn't even know I was asleep.
Wait, is that 6?
Close. What is each x worth?
50.
That's wise.
Oh, 3.
What's each x worth?
3.
3. So we're not going over 6. We're going over 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18.
Oh.
So we're going over 18. So my slope is 250 over 18.
I got a blister.
Alright, and then we need to pick a point on our line, and I'll just finish it off. So I'm going to pick this point, which is at 6, 100. So I have x1, y1, I got m. Y minus 100 equals 250 over 18, x minus 6. Alright. Yes, Jason.
Why was everyone clapping?
I don't know. I was going to slam the desk to wake you up, but Junior beat me to it. Alright, first in class problem.
You would do that to me.
I want you to graph and find your line of best fit. So graph the scatter plot, find the line of best fit, and don't worry about this estimate part. We're going to skip that part for right now.
Just skip the estimate.
Yep, skip the estimate part. We're just going to concentrate on scatter plots.
Silly guy.
So make your scatter plot, find your line of best fit or your trend line. So make your scatter plot, do your line of best fit, and you know what? We don't have a ton of time left, so we're going to make this our exit ticket. So do it on your own, we'll check it real quick, and then you guys will start your homework. So this will be your exit ticket.
You can count up in 5.
It's not competitive?
No, not yet.
Look up videos, Louis. How do you get pictures?
What's your biggest water?
I don't know, I just found it.
So basically 55, right?
Yeah.
So how about like, it's 5. You don't want to go by 1. Oh, you put your arrow. Remember, Y is up and down. X is left. It's the biggest one. 55, right? So what do you make your Y's go by? And you're just going to estimate. Yeah, you're just going to estimate where it is. Which is fine. It'll be. So what do you make your Y's go by?
1, 2, 3, 4, 6. They skipped
5 is pretty good.
Get bulky.
Mm-hmm. You can.
Is that wrong?
So remember, this is your exit ticket. We're gonna do it. You're gonna do it on your own, and then we'll just check it real quick so you can see if you get the right answer. And then
Can I go by
that'll be it. Go back.
Why do you keep skipping numbers? That's not further.
It's not a little fat.
Yeah, they're not go by ones.
What the hell?
Now what?
I did it, Mr. Gargan.
How is he getting?
Your first
Are
dog
we
is
gonna
at
make straight
1.5.
You must be juggling them.
Yeah, so estimate where it should be.
How did you think
Right there.
that?
A little higher. It should be like right below. Yeah.
That's from
There you go.
And then keep doing that, and then
Yep.
can I keep it?
Then you're gonna make one straight line. Yep.
But none of them goes through. Oh, one right there.
I don't think I'll have him.
What's your biggest one? Basically 55, right?
I can do it.
What do you think?
Oh.
Five is good.
How? Oh.
What do I
So
go
what
by?
about
What in the
2.5?
heck?
That would be a little too much, I think. You'd have to go up like 20 lines. But if you go by fives, you're only going up 11.
Interesting, I'll go by fives.
Oh my god. I'm dead.
What the hell?
I know, get this.
What's next?
Oh yeah, and then I figure out
This is
my slope.
Draw your line.
Wait.
Yeah.
Draw your line.
Wait.
So draw your line of this fit.
Delia, can I see your notes real quick?
No. No, you not touch
I
that.
know.
Just need to, like, look at
That looks like a nice one.
2.5.
Now
Okay.
find the equation for that line.
No, I didn't.
Y minus y1.
Equals m x minus x1.
Okay, wait. Do you need my notes?
No, I'm good now. Thank you, though.
Just gonna estimate where it is.
Yeah, I usually
So it's not
I kinda actually
fine.
might.
It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just
No,
estimating.
25.
Grab my hand. Straight line. Don't curve it.
Wait.
Make it straight as you can.
What?
No, sure.
It's fine. Just keep going straight. It's a little low, but I'll take it.
Okay. And that's all?
Now find the equation.
Doggone it.
That's pretty good. Find the equation.
I did it, Miss
And you're
Ryan.
all gonna get slightly different equations, so don't worry about that.
I mean, okay, I did it. I did it.
Wait, the lines aren't perfectly on the lines though.
It's okay, though.
Just guess which one's
This
close.
is going up by 5.
Ah, doesn't
What
matter.
about this? Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and skip.
My eyes are dusty.
So, okay.
You know, hold on.
So if you're gonna do this, you gotta make each one of these worth 1. You can't just write down what you see here. You gotta go by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically, everything from this side over is too far left. So really, okay, so you're gonna have to graph some of these again.
Oh.
Because
What are you guys doing?
we can't skip numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We sent emails to each other.
Okay.
Whoa. So
Okay.
6,
Good.
4, 3. We're skipping 5 right there.
Oh, my name's
And then I'll go.
That's bad.
You gotta find, that's not your equation, we found your slope. We found the slope, not the equation.
How do we find the
Slope is
equation?
part of the equation.
Okay, is that
Just like we've been doing, y minus y1. What is,
I wrote it down. Sorry, I was touching.
okay, you got your slope. And your point is 0, 1. Okay. Alright, yeah.
Oh yeah.
What's
Huh.
wrong with mine?
I don't know, I just want to steal from you.
Am I
Alright,
right,
so your
Mr.
slope,
Coffee?
that's not the equation of the line. You found
No,
your
right
slope.
here, right here. Oh, then I guess.
Where's your x minus?
Alright, Mr.
my
Coffee.
Yeah.
How we
Damn it, what?
Let me turn off the X ticker just a second.
How did we get in?
Remember, it's y minus, it's like, this thing right here.
What the hell?
Okay, that's my dad. Okay, there.
No.
That's not to do that.
I just woke up.
Go to that, put that picture in there. See what he class.
I never got my bag.
Nothing we can
in the hole.
It's a little group.
So that's your point. What's the x comma y that far?
Just gonna go back paper. So one look.
This one
Oh
right here, right?
no.
This point is right here.
I said.
Yeah.
Why was everyone clapping?
Right? Comma.
Because Louise said everyone started copying.
Louise.
No, 25.
No, I didn't. Shut up.
X1, Y1.
No idea how'd you get that.
Oh, so you got 100 now.
All right, most people are getting pretty close to done. I'll go around and check them still, but you are gonna do you're gonna type this into Socrative, and what you're gonna do is put in your equation. So you're still gonna answer this in Socrative, but you'll just put in your equation.
Did I solve it?
No, after you make your equation, you're done.
There, how about that? Is that right?
How we make a equation?
Silly Gorky.
That doesn't look too bad. I'd have to double check it, but it looks pretty good to me. All right. So for your exit ticket, type your equation into Socrative, and on question 2, just skip it. Skip question 2 or type in something random. That's fine, because we skipped that part of our lesson.